Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I've got a new video for you today guys, and look what we've got. Jamaican patties. Look at that pastry. I'm going to show you how to make saltfish Jamaican patties today because they're my favorite. So stay tuned to the end of the video to learn how to make these delicious patties in your kitchen. If you're new to my channel, welcome, and please hit that subscribe button so you can watch more videos from me. Without further ado, let's just get straight into the video. As always, we're going to have a quick rundown of all the ingredients. I'm going to start off with just showing you how to make the pastry, and then we'll move on to the filling. Guys, I will be listing all the ingredients and the amounts used in the description box below, so you don't need to write anything down. Just focus on watching the video and just get the measurements from below. Okay, so first you're going to need some plain flour, sieved plain flour. So I've already sieved this into the bowl. And then you're going to need some beef suet. I'm using a Tora. I'll list that below for you so you can find that easily in your supermarket. But you're going to need, it's equivalent to lard. So obviously if you're on a diet, don't try this recipe. You'll need some butter. You'll need some turmeric, and this is just to give it that nice golden yellowy kind of colour. You'll need one egg. I've got one large egg here. You'll need some sugar and some salt. I've mixed them both in the same pot, but that's sugar and salt there. You'll need some distilled vinegar. Don't ask me the science behind it guys, it just really gives the pastry a kick. Some ice cold water. And finally, you'll need some baking powder, and that just basically is all the ingredients that you'll need for the pastry. Right, let's get into this pastry now. I've got my mixing bowl here, and I'm going to start adding my ingredients one by one. So we're going to start off by adding our flour. So in goes the flour. Next, we're going to add in our beef suet. So put all of that in. Followed by our butter. So in goes our butter. So we quite simply want to mix all of our ingredients together. As you can see, I am softening up the butter and just making sure that all the flour and the beef suet and the butter are combined together nicely. And there you have it, all mixed together, and this is the consistency we are looking for guys. So now we want to add the turmeric. So in goes the turmeric. Also, we're going to add at this point the sugar and salt mix. So we're going to put all of that in, and the baking powder. So I'm just going to use half a teaspoon of the baking powder, and we just mix that together thoroughly. Make sure the turmeric's well incorporated and we have a nice golden colour. And now for the wet ingredients. So I'm going to put in my egg. In goes my egg. I'm going to add my ice cold water. And also include the distilled vinegar at this point. So a couple teaspoons of the distilled vinegar. And I'm going to whisk that through thoroughly, making sure that everything's incorporated nicely. So I'm just going to put that to the side and bring forward our dry mixture. And so all we're going to do now is pour some of our wet ingredients into our dry ingredients and stir that. We want to make sure that we're stirring our mixture to a point where we're keeping the suet intact. The suet and the butter, we want them to be intact because that will create the flakes in our pastry. So if you can see, I'm being quite gentle with how I'm stirring. I'm going to add some more of the liquid here because it's all dried out, and then just keep on with this process. Now time to put the spoon down and get your hands dirty. So here we go, mixing everything together to form a nice dough. The key to any good pastry is to not overwork your dough. So just allow this to come together nicely, not putting in too much effort. Right, I'm happy with my dough, and this is what it should look like. If you can see, it's kind of rough, and we've got all of our lard pieces intact. You can see that there's quite lumpy. That is what we want. We don't want a smooth dough at this point. I'm going to put this into a freezer bag and pop this into the fridge for an hour or two. Just let it chill for a little while, and then we'll make our filling and come back to it. Right, onto our juicy filling. So we're going to have a quick rundown of the ingredients. We'll start off with our saltfish. The saltfish is the main ingredient, and what I did with this is I soaked it overnight, changing the water twice, and then I boiled it and then just flaked it into little pieces. Next, we've got some peppers. So I've got some bell peppers. I'm using all 3 colours, so red, green and yellow. Then my favourite, we've got some shallots here. You know I love some shallots, so I've got 1.5 shallots. Then we've got some thyme, some fresh thyme. I'm going to take that off the stick, but we're going to be using fresh thyme. Next, I'm going to be using some scallions or spring onions. So I've got a couple of spring onions there, 3 cloves of garlic. I've got a scotch bonnet pepper as well, with like a bit of spice and a bit of heat. I've got a chicken stock pot here, some smoked paprika. I've got my complete seasoning. I've also going to be using some black pepper and some tomato ketchup. I'll be using the tomato ketchup to kind of bind all the ingredients and bring it all together. Right, moving over to the stove, I've put a knob of butter into my pan. I'm now adding a drizzle, or let's say a tablespoon of sunflower oil also into the pan. I'm just going to turn my heat up to a medium flame, and I'm just going to allow the butter to melt into the oil and just melt the butter. Add in my stock cube, so in goes my stock cube. Mix that in and allow that to melt down as well. Then we're going to add in our shallots. I chopped these shallots up off camera, so add them in and just sweat those down for a couple of minutes. Next, we're going to go in with our garlic, so in goes all of the garlic. Then we're going to go in with our scotch bonnet, so in goes our nice hot scotch bonnet. Mix that up. Then the thyme, remember I said I'm going to take the thyme off the stalk, so there goes our thyme. Mix that all together, let that sweat down nicely. After a few minutes, we want to then go in with our peppers. So I've got all the mixed peppers in there, and put those in and mix and stir those together. We want to cook this down for a few minutes, let's say about 5 minutes. We want to give the peppers a chance to soften. Once the peppers are soft, we're ready for our next ingredient. I'm loving my peppers, onions and garlic mix at the moment. So now I want to season it. So in goes my complete seasoning, then my smoked paprika, and then some black pepper. I'll give that a little stir, and then I'm going to go straight in with my tomato ketchup. So I'm going to use about 2 tablespoons of tomato ketchup, and as I said, this is to bind everything together. So mix that all together, let all the ingredients come together, and it smells at this point amazing, guys. So pop the lid on, allow that to sweat down for a couple minutes, come back, and it's time to add our saltfish. So I'm going to put all of my saltfish in. Make sure you have shredded it down to bite-sized pieces. You do not want big clumps of saltfish in your patty. So we just mix that thoroughly, make sure everything is incorporated. Then last ingredient, spring onion. So toss in our spring onion, mix it up, cover it, and allow that to sweat down for about 5 minutes, and then you have it. This is our saltfish mix. I'm just mashing it a little bit because I want this to be a little bit pasty. I want all the ingredients to be soft because it will be going into our patties. And here's a close-up. Look at those gorgeous colours. It smells amazing. Now let's finish these patties off. So I've taken my dough out of the fridge and we're going to roll this out now. So what I'm doing is I'm putting some flour onto my surface to make sure that the dough doesn't stick. So I'm just spreading my flour out, and then here is our dough. It's easier to work in smaller sections, so I'm going to cut my dough into half, put half to the side, and just focus on this half for now. Here's a close-up. You can see the pieces of lard, so that is what's going to form our crusty, flaky pastry. So let's get into it. I'm just going to roll out my pastry nice and flat. watch closely now because I'm starting to form the layers that will create our flaky pastry. So I'm folding it lengthways, and then, as you can see, and then I'm going to fold it by the width. So I'm just folding it a couple of times, and you can see that I've got a thick dough. I'm going to give you a close-up right now, and there you can see some layers. So we're going to roll this out again. So roll it out flat again. Repeat the layering process one more time. Roll it out for the final time, and then we're going to be ready to create our shape, our patty shape. So for the patty shape, I'm going to use a bowl. I'm just using a medium-sized bowl because I want medium-sized patties. If you want smaller ones, use a smaller bowl. And if you want bigger ones, use a bigger bowl. But I'm just cutting out my shape, as you can see. And this will form the base of our patty. So this is a thickness that you want. As you can see, we want it a medium thickness because we want to make sure it's thick enough to hold all of our mixture. So now for the mixture, we're going to put in our juicy saltfish mix. Not too much because when you fold it, it will come out the side. So put enough in. Fold your pastry to create a semicircle shape. If you're happy with it, great. And then what I'm doing is I'm using a fork to create like a little pattern at the base of our semicircle. So that's on top of the pastry. Then I'm also going to use a knife to just tidy up the edges. So I'm doing just cleaning them off to make sure that my patty looks neat. I'm happy with that, and I'm going to pierce some holes at the top. And there you have it. You just want to continue with this process until you've used up all your patty dough. I'm going to show you this one more time just so you get the gist of it. When you finish, you put them on a tray, and you should get about 8 patties. I've got 9, so basically 8 normal size and 1 small one out of the dough mix. I've created an egg wash using just eggs and a bit of water, and I'm just going to now coat my patties with the egg wash. That will just give it a nice golden colour. So we're just going to finish this off with a nice golden colour, and there you go. We're going to pop these into a preheated oven on gas mark 6 for about 30 to 35 minutes. And our patties are ready. Look at that, guys. Look at the gorgeous colour on those. I'm just going to have to break this in half because I just want you to see the fantastic pastry that we have created. So I'm going to break this in half for you so you can see. Oh, look at that. Gorgeous. The layers that we've created, the juicy filling. Guys, this recipe is a must try. Definitely give this a go. It makes for the perfect snack or treat. But look at the layers, guys. No, honestly, look at the layers. If you liked watching this video, give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit me up in the comments with any questions that you might have for me. If this is the first time you're watching one of my videos, please hit that subscribe button and become part of the family. I really enjoyed bringing this recipe to you today, but adios, and catch you all in my next video.